Hey guys, it's me Helena. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about human design, astrocartography, and identifying your travel style in the chart. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Helena and I make videos on astrocartography as I travel around the world documenting my insights, findings, and experiences with you in hopes to help you find your best places in the world. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe and check out my free astrocartography guide down below in the description with my top 5 mistakes and solutions to understanding your own map of the world. So first things first, let's talk about human design. And one of the cool ways that you can identify your method of travel in human design. Human design isn't really my thing. I definitely prefer interpreting charts and birth charts and relocated charts in astrology than I do looking at human design. But I have found something really interesting about human design. This is something I actually learned from Jenna Zoe, who does a lot of human design work. One way that you can understand your travel style in your human design is by identifying your G center on your human design chart. If the G center is open, then you can travel wherever you want. You can flow, go with wherever is calling you and just go there. But if your G center is closed on your human design chart, there's more of a need for intentional travel, planning your trips to places that are gonna best support you. When your G center is closed on your human design chart, it's important to be very selective and intentional and discerning about your environment, curating your environment to be in a place that most supports you and makes you feel aligned and centered. And one of the ways you can see if your G center is closed on your human design chart is to see if that area is colored in yellow. If it's colored in yellow, then that means your G center is closed. That will give you some more information about intentional traveling and what is best for you.
In human design, there are also certain environments that are more supportive for you. The 6 environments in human design are the cave, market, kitchen, mountain, valley, and shore. And so where is your best environment in your human design chart? And does that resonate with you? For example, according to my human design, I am best supported in melting pots, close to train stations where there's a sense of movement, and by the shore. And it's interesting because I've always felt more creative and alive when I am by the sea.
Now let's talk about travel in the natal chart. The first thing we're going to identify is the third house. The third house in astrology rules many things, but one of them is travel in relation to short-term travel or short-distance travel. Think of things like a commute to work or passport control or your local immediate surroundings, like your neighborhood, the people that live in your local area, going to your coffee shop or the post office or dropping your kids off at school, or even road trips, local road trips. All of those things are connected to the third house. And the third house is opposite the 9th house in astrology. The 9th house is a bit different. I like to think of the third house as the process and the journey of travel. You know, I think about the enjoying the ride, enjoying the road trip, getting your snacks and your beverages and some music and enjoying the process of traveling somewhere. Very different from the 9th house. And the 3rd and the 9th house are opposite in astrology. The 9th house is also a travel house, but it's different in its style of doing things. For instance, the 9th house is not about the journey or the process of traveling, but rather it's there, going to a new place and then being there for the adventure. The 9th house has to deal with international cultures, foreign lands, long distance travel. I'm talking crossing borders, going on a plane somewhere far away. I'm talking about the adventure, the great cosmic quest of life. That is the 9th house. And the 9th house is not really about enjoying the journey, but rather putting yourself in a new place in the world that's very different so that you can learn and gain knowledge from that experience. 3rd and the 9th houses are the 2 houses in astrology, and those 2 houses we're really going to pay attention to not only the sign in our chart to determine our style, our way of approaching travel. For example, if you have Capricorn in your 3rd house, you might might like to travel for work or business. Maybe there's more of a grounded, sober, and serious quality to your day-to-day commute and travel. Or if you have Sagittarius in your 9th house, there's definitely an adventurous, independent energy around how you travel long distance. Maybe you like to travel solo. Maybe you like to be alone when you travel, or you're super independent. Maybe you like to travel to learn new languages, to understand culture in a big picture way. Embodying Sagittarius energy in that area of life, it's going to give you more detail as to how you travel in your own life just by looking at your natal chart, specifically the 3rd and 9th houses. Along with the sign, you also want to identify any details in the 3rd and 9th house. For example, what planets are in your 3rd house? What planets are in your 9th house? That's also going to give you more detail and information as to how you approach travel in your own life and what it is you prefer. One specific planet, or I should say luminary, that you should really pay attention to in your natal chart is the moon. And the moon is a symbol of travel. According to the 2nd century Stoic philosopher Vedius Valens, he used the following words to identify the moon's archetypes: home, boats, travel, and wandering. So when we're looking at our birth chart, we're really going to pay attention to the moon and our way of moving. Now, one thing you should know about the moon is that the moon gets its joy in the 3rd house in astrology. And the moon in its joy in the 3rd house, when it's placed there, there's a joy of traveling, of traveling in your everyday life, of commuting, of wandering. That movement is very, very critical. So if you have moon in the 3rd house, really nice to see that. The moon symbolizes movement. I mean, we can see this in the lunar cycle, in our transits. The moon travels so quickly. And it's actually the moon that gets its joy in the 3rd house. So every planet has a joy in a certain house. It's most comfortable, it feels easy, it feels very good in a certain area of life when that planet is expressed in that area. And the moon gets its joy in the 3rd house, just as the sun gets its joy in the 9th house. So when we're seeing sun in 9th house, moon in the 3rd house, we're seeing someone that might really love to travel, or at least feel very comfortable. So to wrap this up, the things we're really going to look at when we're understanding our own method of travel in our own life is we're going to look at our human design and see that G center, is it open or closed? We're going to see where the moon is, and we're also going to look at the details that are inside the 3rd and 9th house. Both any planets that are there, sharing any story, any detail, any information about that specific way that we like to travel, as well as the sign placement. The sign is coloring the flavor, the energy of how we like to travel when we're looking at the 3rd and 9th houses. All right, I hope that this video helps support you on your own journey of understanding your birth chart and your way of traveling and which method of travel best supports you. And just to give you an example, I have Cancer in the 9th whole sign house in my natal chart, meaning I feel very cozy, comfortable, connected, at home, nourished, safe, and secure when I'm in foreign lands, when I'm in international countries, and I'm in places that are just different, foreign lands from my own home, because I have my Cancer placement there. And so I'd be curious to hear from you what signs you have in your 3rd and 9th house. And if you have any planets there, do you have the moon in the 3rd or the sun in the 9th? I'd be curious to hear your own stories about how you like to travel in relation to your natal promise in your chart. As always though, with all of these different modalities, human design, astrology, astrocartography, we need to really connect with our own intuition and our own inner voice and let that guide us, because our astrocartography maps, our human design charts, they're all just a reflection of what we know to be true and the wisdom that's within us already. As long as you're connecting with your intuition, you are living your chart. You are already living your map. You are already living your human design. All we have to do is really listen carefully and connect with the stillness and the wisdom that is within. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you wanted to learn more from me, I have 2 locational astrology courses, a beginner's basics astro mapping course down below, as well as a big 7-week course program on understanding charts, relocation charts, and locational astrology. I hope you have a magical day and happy travels. Bye.